Hi! So, basically what you're going to watch in this video is, it's a project for, my 8th grade science class. It's a video project that I made for, Forestry, as you can tell by the title and the title and the thumbnail. Jeez. I know I don't really have that great of an upload schedule. I'm trying to work on that. I've had other stuff that I've had to work on. I have a bunch of stuff that I have to work on and accomplish that I'm trying to do. I have my own Five Nights at Freddy's analog horror series that I'm trying to start up. That's been pretty fun. But basically, I'm going to try to work on keeping a regular content schedule, specifically because Spider-Man Which Way Home did way better than I thought it was ever going to do. The names and photos in this video have been blurred out. See ya. The forest is our home. It's where we've lived for most of our lives. And what I mean by that is that the human species started out by living in the forest, and some of us still do. Take Bigfoot, for example. Today I will be talking about different aspects of the forest, such as succession, diseases, and whatever my dripping science teacher assigned to me.
I say, let the Israelites go!
That was in the desert.
Let the muskrats go!
Dutch elm disease is a fungal disease of elm trees that's naturally spread by elm bark beetles. A virulent strain of the fungus that arose in North America in the early 20th century has destroyed the majority of American elm trees in many different areas. No native elms are immune to this disease. However, some hybrids have been selectively bred to be better equipped for this disease. Unlike some hybrids, they don't destroy an entire theme park. Some symptoms of this disease are that the fungus clogs the elm tree's water conducting system and will cause the tree to die rather quickly, usually within 1 to 2 seasons. The leaves on one or more branches will suddenly wilt, curl, and droop, and the leaves will turn yellow, then brown, and then they shrivel, but they stay on the tree. This is commonly referred to as flagging. Chestnut blight is a pathogenic fungus from the family Ascomycota. Say that 3 times fast, I dare ya. This fungus is native to East and Southeast Asia and was introduced to America and Europe in the early 1900s. The fungus had spread rapidly and had caused significant tree loss in both of the regions. This fungus causes death of above-ground parts of American chestnut, dieback, and cankers. Some examples of symptoms are the orange stroma on the bark. Now, orange stroma is 1 to 3 millimeter diameter structures that contain spores. Swelling of the bark, shedding, sinking, peeling, cracking, or discoloration is another example of a symptom. And dead tissues or cankers will be degraded on the branches, stems, or trunks. The spruce budworm, or the Coristonura for all you little science hippies, you know who you are, is a genus of moths in the family known as Tortricidae. Several of the species are serious pests of conifers, such as spruce, and are known as spruce budworms. They are responsible for killing spruce and balsam fir in Minnesota every year. The best pesticide to prevent these guys is a little something I cooked up in the lab along with Jesse Pinkman called Bacillus thuringiensis kerstaki. Some signs of budworms are the browning of the foliage on the upper canopy. During the day, they'll hide in the dirt surrounding the plant, so we should do our best to get rid of them. The hemlock woolly adelgid is an insect that feeds by sucking the sap from spruce and hemlock. The adelgid is not a serious pest in its range because it's mitigated by parasitoids and predators, and by the host resistance. It sucks the sap by using its mouthparts to pierce through the base of the hemlock needles into the parenchyma cells. They're invasive because they can be moved infested nursery stock, clothing, equipment, and gear. They can be spread through the wind, birds, tree to tree, and through other hemlock materials. Dinotiferin, imidacloprid, insecticidal soap, and an horticultural oil are great ways to kill these critters. I'm sure we've all heard of climate change, right? If you don't know it, you've been living under a rock. Okay, you have to agree with me on that. Climate change can allow invasive species to expand their range. For example, the hemlock woolly adelgid. Hopefully you guys should have been paying attention to me when I was talking about the adelgid, and if you haven't paid attention, then I can see why D-Block is Mr. most frustrating class. Some trees will shift their range and migrate into certain landscapes in which they aren't supposed to grow. Something tells me that this isn't White National Forest.
Where are you? Where are you? Hello? Hello?
Hi, what can I get for you?
Hi, do you have anything with anything maple in it? I can pay in wood chips.
Over the years, logging has majorly evolved with advances in changing market demands, changes in products that can be made from wood, diminishing average tree size, differences in conditions in the woods, and advances in technology.
Fella bunch of funny sounding fella bunch of show us what you do.
But what about 100 years ago? Well, let's take a gander, shall we? Logging was extremely difficult and dangerous, but yet workers still received extremely low wages in Labrador and Newfoundland. Every day from sunrise to sunset, loggers would fell trees, haul logs, and bring wood to the mill.
What? Beaver Dam not going to build itself?
In the evening, they would return to drafty, dirty, and congested bunkhouses. Men would spend 5 to 9 months in these camps away from their families. Although the food was plentiful, it was very monotonous, and a bunch of loggers would be malnourished. It was even worse with work-related accidents. Chainsaws and trucks and other mechanized equipment weren't even the thing until the 1950s. Until then, loggers would use buck saws and axes, and hauled the logs of wood with horse-drawn sleds. Although logging was much more physically demanding than most other types of jobs, woodworkers didn't even earn wages for any time off due to exhaustion or injury. Once again, I'll be talking about climate change. It's a big topic, what'd you expect? Just stop complaining and let me cook. There's a big effect on the maple sugar industry from global warming or climate change. For kicks and giggles, fewer trees, decreased sap quality and quantity, shortened sap seasons, and reduced tree growth and health. They also lead to the reduction of tree shoots and root damage. These major changes could lead to lower rates of syrup production in America. Some areas in the southern part, sugar maple's range has become unsuitable for production. A catalytic wood stove is this Dr. Doofenshmirtz-looking contraption that uses a catalytic combustor to reburn the particulates and gases that have been released through the burning wood. These gases pass through the catalytic combustor, which operates at extremely high temperatures, then combusts, providing increased burn times, fewer emissions, and efficiency. The average temperature for your catalytic converter should be between 700 to 1000 degrees Fahrenheit. They're usually designed to last 12 to 14 hours of use. If you were to remove the catalyst, you'd have an uncontrollable fire that may destroy your stove or render it inoperable. If you're stupid, that means you'll never be able to use it. White Mountain National Forest. Real beauty, ain't it? Now for the next 3 hours, I'll go on a rant about how beautiful this place is. As its name suggests, the National Forest lies within the White Mountains of New Hampshire and Maine. It's crossed by the Kancamagus Drive and White Mountain Trail, plus a part of the Appalachian Trail. Dating back to the 1860s, the Mount Washington Cog Railway climbs to the summit of Mount Washington, which is the highest peak in the northeastern US. The area has been known for the bright fall foliage and winter skiing. The tops of these mountains have unique health communities and Krumholtz forests of spruce and firs. This place is a vacation hotspot for a reason, though. It holds some of the best recreation opportunities in the Northeast. One of the amazing aspects of the National Forest is the fauna that lives there. Bear, fox, moose, white-tailed deer, and other native animals. This forest is the perfect place to observe wildlife.
Question. What kind of bear is best?
That's a ridiculous question.
False. Black bear.
Well, that's debatable. There are actually two schools of thought.
Fact. Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
The emerald ash borer is a very peculiar fellow. Take a look at its color, its body, and its structure. Nature is just perfect, it's captivating. But this little fellow isn't really all that it seems. The emerald ash borer is a jewel beetle from the Northeast Asia that feeds on the ash species of trees. The females will lay their eggs in bark crevices on the ash. Then the larvae feed underneath the bark of ash trees to emerge as adults in 1 to 2 years. Although they may look very beautiful, these little critters have been an invasive species. They've decimated the ash trees, tens of millions, in 30 different states. It's very likely that these guys arrived to the US hidden in various woodpacking materials. Unfortunately, the recovery chance of an ash tree from the borer is highly unlikely.
Well, there's really no easy way to say this, sir, but there's a high likely chance that you won't be able to see your family for Christmas this year.
Now, I'm kind of lazy today, plus I'm gonna go hop on some Siege with the boys, so I'm gonna pass this on to my co-star.
Now, Miss has listed one of the reports that I can do, is list the different fuel sources or prices. So I picked the obvious one. Back in 1850 to 1945, the primary fuel source was coal. Wood was used for heating, and the natural gas was used for lighting. Wind and water energy use had diminished with the rise of coal. Throughout the 1900s, natural gas and oil were primary fuel sources, as electricity had become common in the late 1900s. Here's a little fact, in case you didn't know already. The first form of fuel was the sun. Hey, I said it was a fact. Never said it was funny.
So boring.
How does that work? Where does that expression come from? It doesn't make any sense.
Make it stop.
It doesn't make sense. Life doesn't make sense. No way, look at me. be a fierce warrior or a happy-go-lucky guy.
Oh, hey, I'm back. I prepared this nice little montage of me going through forest succession and forest management, so just sit tight and watch, because I have nothing else to do. You know, dog, some people may not be appreciating this forestry project, but I'm liking this. Hey man, that's not cool. Just remember guys, don't do weed. That stuff hurts ya. What's up, dog? Oh, wow, that's a big looking tree. Don't pay me enough for this. I'm sick of this.
We hope you've enjoyed this forestry report on forestry. As far as forestry reports go, it contains about as much forestry information as a forestry report on forestry could include. We appreciate you taking the time. Hopefully you've expanded your forestry knowledge.
I think I'm internally bleeding. Help!
Matt
Help
Forrest.
me! Ow!